So on yesterday, I watched the movie Sinners. I really don't care for, scary type of movies or whatever, but just looking at the posters from it and everything, like it looks like it's just a demonic type of movie, and it is, but not in a bad way. So it's actually a very good movie to watch for lessons. Well, for me, when I watch movies and shows and things of that nature, then I'm always looking for the lesson in it. So Sinners was a great movie to watch to learn about the spiritual realm and how it affects our everyday life and how it affects how the spiritual realm kind of battles how spiritual warfare really works. So in the movie Sinners, you see where the preacher's son had a gift. He had a gift of singing. He had a gift of playing the guitar. Okay. So the preacher, the dad, he warned him about how Satan would come after him, for his gift and everything. So the son ended up, I believe the son's name is Sammy. So Sammy ended up getting mixed up with his older cousins, which the older cousins, they were trying to open up a little juke joint. Now the whole scenery is happening back in the 1930s, the late 1930s, I believe. So back then, everything was kind of, you have to go here and you have to go across town. There was no phones and no type of semi-modern technology except for vehicles. So, and this is a spoiler alert because I'm just about to tell the whole movie pretty much. So this is a spoiler alert. So Sammy ended up getting mixed up with his two older cousins, which were a set of twins called Smoke and Stack. So Smoke and Stack, they were business minded. They were known to be they were hustle minded. They were known to kind of, dibble and dabble in a little bit of this and that. And they were known to be ruthless, so they, it's known not to cross them because they don't play. Smoke was one of the twins, and Smoke was a soldier. So Smoke was quick to shoot. He was quick to punish you. He was quick to shoot you, quick to whatever. So you don't cross these twins here. Okay, so Sammy was getting mixed up with the twins because they were opening up a juke joint, and this all happened in Mississippi. It all happened in, I think the setting was in Clarksdale, Mississippi in the 1930s. So it showed how demons will come after you for your gift. Because you are gifted, they will come after you. Now, I previously done a message on how people sell themselves for clout, how they will do anything for clout, how they sold their soul. And this is a perfect depiction on what I was talking about. So if you haven't listened to that message, go back, find that message, and listen to it. I believe those are two separate messages, how they sell their soul and how they will do anything for clout. I think those are two separate messages. It may not be. But go back and find those. Listen to that first, and then go watch the movie. Come back and listen to this right here, and then go watch the movie Sinners, because I'm telling you, it is a perfect depiction on how spiritual warfare really works. Now, so being that this setting was in the 1930s, it was basically where the demons that came after Sammy for his gift, they were vampires. And it basically showed how the enemy was killing off, all the people that were in their inner circle. It was killing off their family, their loved one. When I say their family, I'm meaning like a hug. Now for all the people that were in the inner circle, it killed off and worked through one of the doormen. It killed off and worked through a husband, which was a husband and wife team was part of their inner circle. So it killed and worked through the husband. It killed and worked through one of the twins. So that's definitely one of those are the founding members. So these demons were killing and working through the people that they trust the most, the people that they love the most. So imagine you're married and a demon is working through your spouse. So at this point, you're not even dealing with your spouse anymore. You're dealing with that demon. And that demon don't love you the way that your spouse loves you. So that demon just wants you to blindly follow them. Blindly come to them so that they can turn you into what they are. Imagine that. Imagine a demon working through your own twin. This is the person that you have been with from the womb. Y'all have been through everything together. Y'all know secrets about each other that nobody else knows. Y'all are tight. Y'all, the demon works through that twin. So now you have to battle the twin. And you're not going full throttle because you coming from it from a space of like, this can't be happening. This cannot be happening. So you're not even really going full throttle, but they over here really trying to kill you. Like, they really trying to take you out. And you still halfway stuck. You halfway trying to save your life, but you halfway hoping that they snap out of it because this cannot be real. But it was real. They worked through just any and everybody that they love. But the main thing was that they had to ask permission to gain access to you. You had to invite them in your space. That was the main thing. You had to either invite them in or give them permission or willingly come with them. One of the two. Now, another thing was that with the brother, with one of the twins, so Smoke was the one that was really, he was military, so he really watched out for every single thing. But Stack was the one that Smoke kind of had to look out for. Stack was the other twin. So Stack was the one that Smoke had to really watch out for because he kind of doesn't watch his own back. He kind of, can fall victim to a few things because he's a bad boy type, but he still will fall victim to certain things. So Smoke had to watch out for Stack as well. Okay, so Stack was the one that got overtaken by the demon because he fell victim to lust. He fell victim to a woman that he had some dealings with. And if I'm not mistaken, he broke it off with her, but she forcefully kind of made her way around. And right before she overtook him, she was, being lustful with him, and she was drooling. And he noticed that she was drooling. But he thought it was just that she wanted him so bad. Yes, she wanted him all right, but not in the way that he thought. So another thing was that these were a different type of demons. These weren't just regular demons. These were vampires. So with these with regular demons, if you kill the master, if you kill the big demon, then all the other, his whole army dies. Okay, but with the vampires, you have to kill them each one by one, and you have to stab them in the heart, one by one. So, in the midst of them going to war with them, because it came to a point where they had to physically go to war with these vampires. In the midst of them going to war with them, because they did kill majority of them off. I mean, they did lose a lot of their people, but they did kill majority of them off. Okay. Now, the only two that were not stabbed in the heart was Stack, which was one of the twins that ended up getting turned into the vampire. Stack and his girl, which was the one who turned him into a vampire. So those were the only two that were not, they were shot, but for these demons, for these vampires, taking a bullet, it'll slow them down, but it doesn't kill them. So they were the only two that were not killed off by stabbing them in the heart. Okay. So keep that in mind. Okay, so it moves on to where where Sammy finally gets free, and because they finally make it to that morning where everything and everybody dies pretty much except for Sammy and Smoke. Okay, Smoke had to go handle something else, but Sammy had to go back to his dad's church because it was Saturday night when all this happened. Saturday when all this happened. It was Saturday night. Saturday was the last time Sammy seen his dad at the church. So he promised his dad that he would come back for service to play the next morning. Okay, so they make it to the next morning. Sammy finally gets away by the hairs of his chin. I mean, he looking rough. He bleeding. He scratched up. He dirty because they done got in the lake and all kinds of stuff. He done literally fought for his life. So he looks like he has been to war. Okay. So he finally makes it back to service, and he's all torn up and beat up. But he was still holding on. He had broken the guitar off on one of the demon's head. Okay. And it slowed him down. Okay. So he still had like the string part, the handle part of the guitar. So the part that you hold that has the strings on there. He's still holding that. So even while he's making it to service, while he's going back to the church, which I'm not sure how much of a distance it was from where they were to the church, but he drove the whole way and he still was holding on to the guitar. Now, the guitar, to me, the guitar represents that was part of his gift, but that was also there was remnants of the world. There was remnants of, there was a door. That was, the guitar was the last thing that he had that represents him being free as a man, because I feel like that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to use his gifts to make him free, to kind of, you know, to make a means for himself and things of that nature. Okay. So that was, it's not much to hold on to, but it's a teeny tiny gateway. It's something for the enemy to still work through. It's a teeny tiny gateway. It's a crack in the door. So he was leaving a crack open in the door, although he had just come up out of that spiritual warfare. Although he had just fought for his life and barely made it. Like he barely made it. He had to watch all these people around him, you know, fall, and all of these people around him die. All these people around him get hijacked by the enemy, and he just witnessed all of this with his two eyes. He witnessed it, okay? But he still was holding on to the last little bit that he had that symbolized the world, that symbolized the enemy's playground, that symbolized a gateway for the enemy to reach him, which was the handle of that guitar. Now, fast forward to years later, which is in the 60s. I think it showed 1960 something, I believe. Okay, years later. Okay, Sammy is now, you know, he's playing the guitar. You know, he's playing the guitar. He's now he's made a name for himself. Of course, he's an older man. You know, he's an old man at this point. And so at this point, Sammy is a older man now. Okay, so, you know, times have changed at this point from the 30s to the, it may not have been the 60s. I can't remember what year it was, but times had changed, and Sammy was an older man. At the point in the 30s, Sammy looked like he may have been, you know, maybe 20. You know, he may have been 18, somewhere around there, but he was a younger guy, you know, a younger man. Okay, at this point, Sammy looks like he may be, you know, 68, you know, 65, 70, something like that. But he's a blues singer by now. He's well renowned. You know, he's known. He's made a name for himself. I hope you guys can hear me over the wind, but he's made a name for himself at this point. So, mind you, the only two people that had not been killed one by one was Stack, which was the twin that was overtaken, that was hijacked, Stack and his girl. Okay. So, Sammy is at the club. He just finished his little set. So he's sitting down having a drink at the bar, and somebody comes in and tells him that somebody asked to see him. They asked for permission to come back to talk to him. So they have to gain permission. You have to give them access. They have to gain permission. You have to give them access to come in. So this is why I say that the enemy He don't want to take nothing from you. He wants you to give it to him. He wants you to willingly give it to him. He wants you to willingly give him your authority. He wants you to willingly give him your life, basically. So, anywho, so Sammy gives the doorman permission for whomever it is that's at the door asking for him. He gives them permission to come back. And lo and behold, who is it that walks through the door? Stack and his girl. They still look the same, you know. They just look up to date with the times, you know, and so they have a little conversation with Sammy, and they ask, was he ready to make some money? And he say, yeah, that, he done, I can't remember exactly what he done said, but, it was basically him saying, yeah, that, he done kind of lived enough life. And yeah, he was ready to kind of, go ahead and sell his soul. So Stack left him a little money. He left him a little money. And he went on about his business. And so that just goes to show how now this is an example in the music industry of how people sell their souls. So back in the day, they were literally dealing with, vampires that you can physically see with the teeth and all that good stuff, where you see their teeth and they are literally coming for your blood, literally. Okay, but in the modern day, they don't come to suck your blood. They come to drain you for your gift. They come to steal your time. So when they say vampires, it may not be a vampire that have the fangs in their teeth that you can see, but they got the fangs in their spirit. If you can see spiritually, then you see what they coming for. You see how they come, and you know something ain't right. So you got energy vampires. Well, they coming to steal your energy, your life force. What makes you you? Your gifts are part of that. If you don't have energy, you won't have the energy for your gifts. Your gifts and your energy is what makes you bright. That's your light. That's what attracts. I was trying to wait on the wind to pass. But that's what attracts goodness to you when you properly use. So when you properly use your energy and your gifts, it's going to be for God's glory. And that attracts other goodness to you from glory to glory. That's what that means. That takes you from glory to glory when you properly use your energy and your God-given gifts. You're using it for God's glory. So it will take you from glory to glory it will attract more goodness to you, which takes you to another level of glory. Glory is literally levels to everything. It's levels to it. It's levels to glory. It's levels to goodness. It's levels to everything. So when you properly use your gifts and your energy, it's going to take you from glory to glory. It's law. It's nothing that you have to focus on. I mean, you focus on using it right, and everything else will come with it because it's law. I'm letting the wind pass by. Give me a second. I think it may rain today too. But, so if you haven't watched the movie Sinners, go ahead. It's on Netflix. I believe Netflix, or if it wasn't Netflix, it may have been Prime. So go to Prime Video right now. This is February 5th, I think, or February 6th. Go on Prime Video, watch the movie Sinners, and tell me what you think about it. Let me know your depiction on what the symbolisms of different things in the movie that you seen was. I mean, I didn't go over the whole movie, so I'm sure I left, some things out, but I just kind of hit the high points, and how it ties into previous messages that I had done. So go back and listen to my previous messages on doing anything for clout, and they just sold their soul. And there's another one that ties into this one as well. I think it's something about it's one that I done literally on energy vampires. So go back and watch those 3 videos, watch the movie Sinners, and tell me what you think.